Hello everyone! Today I will tell you how to set up complex animation, what to pay attention to, and most importantly how to control everything remotely using your phone or tablet. We will use the tools already familiar to us: AT-Mini Extreme, OBS Studio and Companion program. And if you don't know anything about it, then be sure to check out my previous videos on the channel. I will use this animation with countdown timer, which I will replace with an animated transition. I also prepared all graphics what we need in advance. Here we have our background music, timer and transition. We have the following workflow: display still image, triggering an animated transition, start countdown timer with background music, triggering an animated transition, displaying the image from the main source. I also created this scene in OBS Studio. Here we have green screen, our timer, background music and transition. Let's turn it off for now, and when our scene is ready, we are ready to move to Companion to set up our button. Just make sure that all connections are established and the status is OK, and then proceed with configuration. Let's create another button and call it timer. Our first command is gonna be scene change in OBS Studio. Let's find it. For that we write in scene and we found set program scene. We will keep the delay by default in 0 milliseconds and choose our scene. In my case it's animation. Next step, we need to add our source and make it visible. Let's find another command. Source visible. After that we need to change our scene and find our source. In my case, first source is gonna be green, and we need to make it visible, so visibility should be true. I will set it on 0 milliseconds. Let's test it. Switch into OBS, change the scene and press our button, so you can see that our source is visible and we just changed the scene. Everything works just fine. Let's turn it off for now. Next step for us is turn on our transition so we can play it. For that we will add another source visible command. Again, we need to be sure that we choose the correct scene, and after that we can find our transition. In my case it's transition number 1, and we need to make it visible as well. And here I will set the delay in 50 milliseconds, just to be sure that our green screen will be on, and after that we can see our transition. When our transition is playing, it's time to turn on our timers, so let's add one more source visible command. Again, choosing our scene, and we need to find our timer and make it visible. And we just need to be sure that our timer will be on in the middle of our transition. In my case it's 1150 milliseconds of delay. But I definitely recommend you to run some tests to find the correct time for your graphics. In the same time with our timer we need to turn on our music. So let's add another visible source and turn on our background music. Again, I will choose the correct scene, and after that I can find our music layer and make it visible, and I will put the delay on the same time as it was for our timer. So it means that they will play at the same time. So we just finished to do the main part of our command. Let's test it and see how it works. For that, I will play our button, and you can see that our animation is playing so smooth, and we get the nice transition, and our music starts playing right after the transition with our timer. Now we are ready to move on, but first let's return everything to its original state. Now when we know that everything works smooth and on time, we need to make second command. In my case it's gonna be source visible for our transition. We need to turn it off right after it's done playing, so we can turn it on later. For that I will add another source visible command, change our scene, choose our transition and make it invisible with delay settings of 1400 milliseconds. Right after that I will create another command with set source visibility for this transition, because we need to play it right after the end of our timer, because we need to change our source to the main camera. With delay settings, I will put around 15,500 milliseconds. In the same time, we need to turn off our music, so let's add another source visible command, find our scene, choose our music and make it off with the same delay as our transition. And we can add one more command to turn off our timer. Make it invisible and I will set the same delay settings. In this moment we need to switch our input to main camera and we can find 80 mini-xim set program input. In my case it's gonna be input number 1 with my main camera Blackmagic. And I forgot to tell you about one command. To play our animation live we need to turn on our upstream key. Let's add our command. We can see the command set on air. And we need to turn our upstream key number 1. And we can turn it on right after switching the scene. And now we can run some tests to be sure that everything works just fine, and if it's not we can adjust the settings. Let's put our still images to program and after that we can run our program and see how it works. And I already can say that I made some mistakes with delay settings, so I need to adjust it and find the correct time for our animation so it can play smoothly and on time. Let's adjust it. For that I will return everything to its original state and try to find the correct delay settings for our animation. So first of all I would like to increase the delay settings for our command, which is gonna turn off transition after it's playing because it was turned off too early. After that I will add a small delay for our upstream key number 1 because I can see some glitches when it's switching. And right now I'm ready for a second test. Let's put our still images to program view and run our command and see how it works. I can see that the first part of our animation is go smoothly and we can hear our background music is playing. Right now we just need to wait until our timer is gonna be ended. And I found one more mistake at the end of our command. I think I found the problem because our transition should run on 1250 milliseconds early before we will turn off our background music and timer. So let's write it here, 14,250 milliseconds. And then we can see that our input should change around 16,000 milliseconds, and right now everything should play just smooth and nice. Let's see if it's so. I will return everything to its original state and try to play it one more time. Okay, we can see that first part is playing just smooth and nice. And now we just need to wait until the animations will be complete and see how it turns on. And I still can see the still image, so it means that we need to turn on our input a little bit early. So let's try to turn it on the same time with our settings. Okay. Yes, now our graphics plays nice and smooth, and I even can do it from my phone, just pressing one button. And that means that I can control the whole system remotely, and yes, it's possible using Companion. You just need to connect all your devices through a router. After that, you just need to connect your phone to Wi-Fi network and copy this web address into your browser line on the phone. In conclusion, I would like to grab your attention to the following. As an example, I performed all the actions using one command. But in practice, I'd recommend you to divide one command into two. The first will run on and play the timer itself, and the second command will switch to the main source. In this case, you will have more control over your stream, especially if the event itself is delayed. It's also worth noting the settings of our timer layer. Here it's important to set the display of the final frame after playing the entire animation, again in case if you will have any delays of your event. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, write your opinion in the comments and see you in the next one. Bye!